Episode 6.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the top? Well, if so, buckle up and hold on. It's time once again for So You Want to Sell on eBay with your hosts, Ron LeBeau and Ali Young.
Creating an eBay store these days is not that difficult a task. Creating a custom eBay store is. So if you're thinking of starting an eBay business, or even if you're a titanium power seller, let the professional team at AuctionProTemplates.com create a custom eBay store for you.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
All right, everyone, let's get this thing rolling here. I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to introduce to you our guest today, David Rogers, who also goes by eBay Man. Great to have you, David.
Great to have you join us today, David. Really excited to be chatting with you.
Guys, I am really excited to be discussing my eBay experience with both of you guys. And again, I really appreciate doing this interview with the two of you.
We're glad to have you. So, in 2003, he sold a He-Man Skeletor toy action figure to Late Night with Conan O'Brien TV show to be used in one of their comedy sketches, and he's been hooked at selling on eBay ever since. He's a proud dad to 2 sons and a husband to his beautiful wife, who goes by @eBay_lady on Twitter. I've given our listeners an overview of you, David, and I'm sure they want to know more. But before we dive in, let's find out a little bit more about you personally. Our listeners want to know anything and everything you'd like to share about you. Family, hobbies, or just anything you want to share.
Well, I've always been interested in collecting all kinds of things. Mostly when I was 5 years old, I started collecting sports cards, basically football, baseball. And from there, I've always had this collecting hobby. And I knew that one day I would like to have a store to sell all these items I've been hoarding over the years. And so when eBay came around, I thought this is just a perfect way for me to start selling my items that I've been collecting. I love to play golf. I love to play tennis. I love to go biking. I'm a dad, as you mentioned. I have 2 sons who actually also started last year getting into taking pictures of our items. And who knows, maybe one day they might be starting to sell whatever they've been collecting too.
Cool.
But I just really have enjoyed selling and interacting with people from all over the world, and eBay has totally made that possible for me.
Yeah, it sounds like it's in the bloodline.
It could be. I hope so.
Yeah. Did you sell all this stuff then? You know, you collected over the years. Did you eventually put it all onto eBay?
No, I think that I have so much stuff that if eBay is around for another 50 or 60 years and I'm still around, I'll probably still be selling my stuff because I just have a ton of stuff and I just never have enough hours in the day to put items on. That's the main problem. If I had more time, I would be putting stuff on all day long, but unfortunately I can't do it. It's not possible.
It's a common theme from people we've interviewed. They all seem to have this room, and this room is just full of stuff that needs to go onto eBay.
I have thought about many times of making a YouTube video or some type of video where I can show whoever is interested what I have, because I have 2 places where I keep my stuff, and it's just from floor to ceiling stacked, all neatly stacked. But over the years, it has become a little bit of a mess because of my collecting interests. I collect all kinds of things.
I bet you do, man. It sounds like you've got a good collection of your childhood memories in it. Was it hard for you to put those the things you've sold or the things you've collected at 5 years old on eBay?
Well, at first it feels like as if I'm cutting off my own arm, and I'm sure other guys or ladies have said that too, because you are selling off a part of your childhood, a part of a toy that you grew up with. But lately eBay has really become more of a business for me, that I don't have any more sentimental value attached to any of my items. Pretty much whatever I have left, and there's a lot, I am willing to sell if it's for the right price. I really don't have any plans of keeping anything, but in the beginning, yes, it was tough to sell an item that I had when I was a kid.
I know my wife has collected porcelain dolls since she was a child, and I would not even think of asking her to sell those.
My wife still has her porcelain dolls too, but she actually has been thinking about parting with them on eBay herself down the road.
Well, sounds like your wife could buy them, Ron.
Yeah.
Some more. Well, that's fantastic, David. Well, as always, before we start each episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay, we always like to ask our guests to tell us about one person that's sort of made a real impact on you. This could be someone who, could either be positive or negative, but someone sort of helped you along the way and get you where you are today. So, David, tell us about your impact person. Who is it?
I really have to say it has to be my late mom, my late grandparents, and my dad, because without them, I wouldn't be the kind of guy and person I am today. And I also have to say, as well as my wife has made me into the man that I am today, and my two sons. So I'm not going to say a famous celebrity or sports celebrity. I'm going to go with hitting it home more close to home. That it's my close family is who's made the most impact on me.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being a family man, David, and it sounds like you have a good, strong set of roots in your family there, and it looks like you're passing those roots on down to your boys, which is always commendable.
Thanks.
All right, David, so now that we know a little bit more about you, let's take a look at your journey to and through eBay, because obviously you've had success with eBay, but we're going to dig in now, and we're going to see how it all happened, because we want to hear of your failures and your successes. Our listeners need to know that you've been where they are, and there's good news for them if they're determined. We also know that success rarely comes before failure. So, David, if you would, tell us in great detail of a particular failure that happened on your journey that may have had you second-guess whether or not to continue to pursuing your eBay business.
I think that one of my early failures beginning on eBay is that I sold a bunch of collectible comic books to a guy in Canada, and I didn't ship them in a nice hardbound box. I just put them in a shipping, just basically a plain envelope, and wrapped it up and sent it out. And they came to him damaged. And I was very lucky that he didn't give me negative feedback. The comic books were basically only for him to read. He didn't spend, it wasn't a lot for the comic books. But I learned early on that in order for me to deal with people from Canada or all over the world, wherever I ship to, that I have to be obviously a lot more careful in shipping out items, and that I don't ever want a customer or client of mine to get an item of mine and say that it came to them damaged, knowing that it probably was my fault that I didn't ship it well enough and package it well enough. So today, whenever I send something out, it's all done by me. I don't use anyone's help. I bubble wrap it. If it's a collectible item, I put it in a box. I bubble wrap it again so it's all well, safe, and secure. So that's probably one of my earliest failures, and fortunately for me, I did not get any negative feedback on it. I still remain at 100%.
That's awesome, David. And, you probably just saved somebody from getting negative feedback, that took that advice. So that's great information. We appreciate that. Sure.
Another early failure of mine is that in the very beginning of eBay, I was skeptical of, I think it was PayPal, but I think it was BidPay. I was very skeptical of online payment systems. So in the very beginning, I only accepted money by mail, cash, or checks. And I think that had I accepted online payments sooner, I would have had a lot more transactions. But I was skeptical and I didn't do it. So I think had I known earlier to accept that, I would have had many more transactions than before.
Yeah, and this is why people use PayPal these days, because they feel that security, they feel that safety. And it's great to hear about that, that problem with the shipping, because if something like that hadn't happened, it probably wouldn't have made you what you are today. It wouldn't have made you that thorough, you wouldn't be now so more bubble wrapping it and making it ship out better, really.
Yes, you also have to realize is that when someone buys on eBay, they're not physically going into a store to pull out a dress or a sports card or a toy. You're sending it to them, so you have to treat all your customers as if they're going to come back to you for repeat business. So every single time that I ship something out, I also hope to have that intention of them coming back to me or referring people over my way and say, hey, I got this great toy from David. It came to me real fast, and it was perfect and pristine condition, undamaged. Maybe you should go check out his store and see what else he has to offer. So I always have that in mind too when I ship something out.
Yeah, it's a great way to be thinking. It really is. Don't just think of the one sale, think of the long term. And we hear that over and over again on this show, and it's really important, I think. Well, let's turn the tables now, and let's look at a particular success story. We've heard of your failure. Tell us of a win for you in detail that reassured you that your eBay journey was sort of heading in the direction that you wanted it to go.
I could tell you several, but my most recent one that I really just get a big kick out of is that I went to an estate sale with my dad a few months back, and I don't always go to them. I can't always make it with them. But we went, and I'm really more of a toy seller and collector. I sell other things, too, besides toys. But we went to this estate sale, and I found in the corner of this one area this Ghostbusters toy, a very collectible toy. And it was all completely sealed up in a box. Ron, I remember I told you this when we first had talked. And so it was all sealed up in a box. There was only estate sale ladies only wanted $5 for this toy.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe it because I had seen just a few days prior to that, I saw this one episode of this guy on, I forgot what channel it's on, but he's Jordan. His name is called Toy Hunter. And he has this show called Toy Hunter. And he's on Twitter, and I follow him. And so I remembered that he had paid like over $225 for this toy and said it was worth like around $400. So I get the toy, I leave the estate sale, I rush home with my dad, I go Google, I watch the entire episode again, and then I go on Twitter and I take a picture of the front and back of the toy and I tweet to Jordan, not thinking he would even respond to me because he's a celebrity now, and most of these celebrities don't ever respond to us regular guys.
Sure.
So anyway, I tweeted him a picture of the toy, and I said, Jordan, I got this at an estate sale. Did I do great? And he wrote to me several hours later. I was really surprised that he even responded to me. And he goes, dude, I am jealous. I can't believe you found this toy. So jealous. And so I took pictures of it. I put it on eBay, and I sold that toy that I bought for $5. I sold that toy. You could probably even check on my history too, because it's a recent sale, for $325, and I only spent $5 at it at an estate sale. So stuff like that really just keeps me going. It's the thrill of the hunt of finding something that I can find and then later on resell right back on.
Right. And the other thing is I'm sure you favorited that tweet, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That tweet was favorited, yes.
So I think I would have responded and said, hey, don't be jealous, buy it from me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I was hoping that he would probably say, can I get that one from you? But he did not. But I was actually more honored that he responded to me, because normally he doesn't respond to people's tweets.
Sure, yeah. So we've talked about a failure and a success, and now we're at the point where we talk about a wow moment. It just so happens to be my favorite part of the show. So, David, tell us a story of a time in your journey when you had a wow moment, a moment that was so instrumental to your success that you knew you were on your way to a successful eBay business.
I have to probably mention two quick stories with you guys. And the first one is, Ron, where you introduced me about that I sold this Skeletor toy action figure.
Right.
In 2003 is when I became a seller. I've been on eBay since 2000, but in 2003 I started selling toys, my toys from my childhood, and I got this email from this marketing lady at the Conan O'Brien show, and at first I literally thought it was a scam or a joke, and I said, because she wrote in there, we really like this He-Man action figure. That's where Skeletor is from, in case anyone doesn't know. And we want to use it in a skit. And I only had it on eBay for $5. And she wrote, can you end the auction? We'll pay you $40 and we'll give you a T-shirt from the Conan O'Brien show. So I thought this was a joke, but she had her phone number and her name. So I literally called her up in New York City, and I did get her, and it was really her, and her job is to go on eBay and find props for the show for them to use in skits. And I said, I was very beginning new to eBay, so I asked her, I said, how in the world do I even end an auction early? I don't even know how to do that. So I found out how to do that, and I ended up selling the figure to her. She FedExed me a check and gave me a T-shirt and told me when my figure would be on the Conan O'Brien show, using a little sketch, and I actually even recorded the show. That one episode there, I just said to myself, if I can sell a toy action figure to the Conan O'Brien show, what in the world else could I possibly sell?
Exactly.
Sort of boosts your confidence a bit, doesn't it?
Well, it does. It just shows you that really there are people all over the world looking for these odds and ends items. It just is amazing what people are willing to spend or buy.
And it's amazing that they use something like eBay. I mean, this is where a lot of people get lost in the idea that eBay is sort of like a lower end sort of marketplace. But everybody, I mean, loads and loads of people are going to eBay to find this stuff, and it obviously works. They find what they're looking for.
They do. My other quick wow story, if you guys want to hear it, is that I got an email. I put on eBay, probably was like 2004, 2005, or 6. I'm not quite sure what year. But Ace Frehley from the rock band Kiss had this Mego action figure doll toy. It was about 12 inches in height or so. And I put him on it was like a vintage Mego action figure, very collectible with people. But I had this lady contact me. She said that she was making a short film, that it was based upon her childhood, and that she needed this Ace Frehley Kiss action figure from me because she got outbid on a prior one, and she needed it for her movie soon. And if she wanted, could I FedEx it to her right away? So I wrote back to her, I said, if you need it, I said, as long as you're the final bidder on this toy, I said, then I don't care. I'll FedEx it out to you right away. And at the last few hours of the auction, she went back and forth with a Kiss toy action collector guy, that she drove my price almost up to $200, and I only wanted like $40 or $50 for this toy to begin with.
Gee, amazing.
She ended up putting it in her short film, and she gave me the copy of the short film about a year and a half later, and it was in her movie, because she had this doll toy when she was like maybe 5 or 6 years old, and it was instrumental part of the movie, is that it had to be in a few scenes. So you get odd stuff like that happens to you, and that's what keeps me going and wanting to sell anything that I can possibly think of that people want.
And let me ask you, David, do you only sell toys? Is that what you sell on eBay, is it?
No, I will, basically, Ali, I will sell anything that, if I make $1 on an item as a profit, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. I will sell books, stamps, coins, autographs, toys, of course, sports cards, anything that is unusual or unique. I have artwork, jewelry, so anything that sort of like catches my eye, that I find unique and that maybe no one else has, I'll put on and see what goes from there. Sometimes I make a sale, sometimes I don't, but it's worth a shot and try.
And you know what, David, you're not the only one. We've had several people tell us that they're more interested in selling on eBay, and sometimes it's selling in bulk. So if you sell 100 of something at $1 a piece, profit, you're making $100. So you're not unique in that regard.
No, I definitely I really just don't mind selling anything possible on there. I mean, I've even sold on eBay old packs of vintage cigarettes with the cigarettes still in them to collectors. And you have to word it a certain way, because eBay, with policies, you can't have minors, buy cigarettes. But I've even sold packs of vintage cigarettes. So my store or niche is not just centered on one kind of product. It can be anything possible that I might have had when I was a kid, or anything that I find in the store that catches my eye and that someone else can't possibly get, so I put it out there to see if I sell it or not.
It's great. That's a great platform for it. Well, we got our listeners, David. They come from all walks of life. We have everybody listening to you right now. They want to hear what you did as a successful eBay seller in your pre-eBay life. I mean, before you actually came to eBay, before you started this adventure, I think we heard about a bit of it in the intro, but what jobs did you do? I mean, what did you do before you actually started your eBay business?
I still am a real estate attorney. I help clients buy and sell homes. So I actually do that during the day. And then in the evenings when I come home, after dinner, spending time with my wife and my sons, I'll go on and I might put on maybe 5 to a dozen items on eBay. Maybe not every night, but every couple of nights. Sometimes I might even skip a week or two. So I still have a regular full-time job. But I love to sell. I really have a passion to sell. To me, eBay has become more of a business for me in the last 10 years than ever before but I also enjoy it. I have total fun selling anything that I think I can make a profit on.
That's really good. And again, like I said already, you take that thing, you like your story with the toy, you buy it for $5 and you sell it for a few $100, and it just gets you going, doesn't it? It gets you pumped.
It really does. And I really just also have fun interacting with a lot of my customers and clients on Twitter because they start following me, and whenever I sometimes put out something that's unique, maybe like a Jimi Hendrix record, an old vintage Jimi Hendrix record, or something else, or an Elvis record, or anything that they had from their childhood. Sometimes they retweet my tweet, or they'll say, David, that's a great item. I remember I had that when I was a kid, and thanks for putting it on there for eBay to be sold. I really love also interacting with my customers and clients, and that's mostly through Twitter because I'm on there almost every day.
Yeah, I see you on Twitter a lot.
Yeah. I have something like over 9,000 tweets, but I mean, there's people that have over 200,000 tweets or plus. I am on there quite a lot.
Great, Twitter. Everyone's tweeting these days. Geez, I tell my gran about that. She has no idea what I'm talking about. So, okay, well, we've covered the spectrum of your eBay business. So we've sort of heard your failures. We've heard your successes. We had a couple of great wow moments there. But the thing we haven't covered at the moment is what your business is doing today. So, David, what excites you about your business right now? What's the new adventures for it?
Right now, I'm starting to sell items for my family members, and I sometimes sell for people for of course, a price. I don't always do this. They have to be a close friend. But right now, what's exciting is I have over a dozen or so movie posters that are custom framed, and I'm working on taking pictures of that and putting them on because that's a part of my store I never had before, of these custom framed movie posters of they're basically Broadway shows like Diary of Anne Frank and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat and Cats and Chicago. So I'm really excited. I'm working on those. I took some pictures the last few days, and I'll be generating and putting those on eBay. So I'm really excited about that because that was something I didn't have in my store before, and I think I'll probably get a few collectors out there that will hopefully start buying these from us.
Yeah, and that sounds awesome, but if those are framed, how are you planning on shipping those?
Well, I'm lucky in that I have a lot of boxes. Where my place is located, there's a few stores like Radio Shack and a few restaurants that have these large boxes, and so either me or my dad will go to the dumpster where they're at, and rather than spending money on buying boxes, I'll go back there, or my dad will, and we bring them back, and then we recycle them and reuse them. So I'm able to ship them out. The posters are not that big. They're kind of no more than maybe 17 or 18 inches in length, but they're solid heavy with the frames on there. But sure. I'll find a box to ship them out on. I'm not worried about that.
It's now time for the lightning round, but before we do, let's thank our sponsors.
So you're wondering how you can grow your business, yet your website is currently being hosted by one of those website in a box sites. Or maybe you don't have a website. Well, if you're really serious about growing your business, then maybe it's time to get serious about who is hosting your website. Bluehost is your answer. At Bluehost, you get complete hosting solutions for as little as $4.95 per month. And while that is inexpensive, it certainly is not cheap. You get unlimited domain hosting, unlimited space, unlimited bandwidth, and much more. Bluehost has the top-rated 24/7 support team of real experts ready to offer real solutions and advice. And if that weren't enough, at Bluehost, you will never sign a contract. Go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/Bluehost today and take your business to a whole new level.
Here's where we're going to ask you a series of questions, David, and it's your chance to answer those questions as you care to. You can answer them quickly, or you can answer them elaborately as you want. So what was your biggest fear of starting an eBay business?
I would say I get bored very quickly, so I thought that I would get bored very quickly on selling items on eBay. I did not, obviously, but I thought that I would lose interest in the site.
What's one piece of advice you could give someone just starting out on this eBay business of theirs?
I would say to be honest in their description. For instance, let's say that they're putting on an item and it's damaged, not to hide those defects, because people can't physically come to your store is online, is that if you have a record or something and it's chipped or cracked and you're selling a vintage record or it has a scratch on it, you should be honest and mention all the flaws and defects, as well as, any imperfections. So I would say you should be honest in your description, and also take great pictures too.
That's really good advice, David. So, David, if you could go back to the very beginning with the knowledge you have of eBay and the knowledge you have of running a business, because you are actually running a business, what one thing would you do differently?
Definitely, from what I told you earlier, is I would have accepted online payments sooner. Rather, I think it took me 1 or 2 years before I felt comfortable accepting payments that way.
So when you started your eBay business, how much confidence did you have that you could really actually make money from it?
I was skeptical at first, Ali, and I would think then that when I sold the toy to the Conan O'Brien show, that just sparked my interest even further of saying, hey, if I could, little guy like me, that's totally unknown, if I can sell something to a well-known show, then, I think this could possibly turn into a profitable business for me.
Yeah, but after all, you are the eBay man. I mean, seriously.
Why would you expect it wouldn't happen?
Don't sell yourself short. Okay, so David, what is your take on free shipping? I mean, sometimes you see, everybody's offering free shipping these days, and sometimes, you just almost have to eat the profits sometimes just to get through. So do you believe in cost averaging, or what's your take on free shipping?
Ron, I'm not really a fan of free shipping at all. I really am not. However, if I have an item and it's $50 or $100 or $200 or it goes into the thousands, I'll offer free shipping, because if a person is willing to pay me $1,000 for an item, I'm going to offer him free shipping. But I never offer free international shipping. I never do that, because I know that an item could cost me anywhere between $45 to over $100 to ship it out to like Australia or to Greece or to another country. I'm not a fan of free shipping. I've always felt that sometimes I even wonder, how do people even make a profit on eBay if they sell an item for like $4 and they offer free shipping, and shipping's going to probably be like $7 or $8. It's like they're like making no profit on their item at all.
It's kind of a mystery, isn't it?
No, it really is. I really can't figure out why a lot of people offer that. I mean, I've always been against offering free shipping unless it's a real big ticket item. Then I will offer it, but I never do it for international sales.
I mean, there is something to be said from what we've heard so far, that the free shipping, you can get better rankings in the search results if you do use free shipping. But I have the same thing. I used to think exactly the same thing. There's a product there for $4, there's free shipping on it, and it's wow, how are these people making money? And that is actually, that particular question is one of the reasons that we ask these people these questions, because we want to know stuff like that. So we've got this one's probably going to be really relevant to you now, David, because am I correct in saying that you've never had bad feedback?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay, so this is the question for you. This is you're going to be the man for this one then. So what actions? I mean, you must do some actions to make sure that you don't get that bad feedback. What do you do to keep that clean record?
Well, sure. Well, I always have great communication with my clients' customers. I think that every eBayer, if he or she's going to make this a serious business, that as soon as you get money in via PayPal and that person pays you on eBay, you should send them a little quick message through eBay or even through their email and say, listen, I got your money. Thank you very much for the purchase. And I plan to ship out your item on such and such date, and I'll get back to you with a shipping tracking number. I do that for all of my customers, even if they buy an item for me for 50 cents to $1. Everybody gets the same email from me thanking them for the item, thanking them for paying me, and also that I'm going to post them feedback soon and when they can expect to receive the item from me. I think that's real key on not getting negative feedback.
Yeah, that's great advice, David. And I tell you, if you're just starting your eBay store right now, take heed to this advice because feedback is very, very important to you, and you may or may not know that. But David's gone 11 years now without any negative feedback, and it's due to his process here. And you just heard his process. Play it back if you need to, but it's a 3-step process, and it works. So just go ahead and do that way, and you'll be just fine. So, David, what research do you do on a particular item? Let's just say you have one item. What research do you do to determine what you're going to sell it for and if it's even going to sell on eBay?
I always go to the little advanced search area, and I click on that on eBay. It's all the way to the right of your My eBay page. And I click on that, and I scroll down, and I type in the name of the item, and then I'll do the recent sales of that. I like to see what the item sold for recently on eBay. And if I can't find that particular, if there's no recent sales, and I look to see, well, is there anyone currently listing that item? I also use Google a lot too. If I can't find the item at all on Google, I'll go to Google. I'll even go on Amazon too and do my research. So my main 3 research sites would be eBay itself, the advanced search button, Google, and also Amazon. It's probably some of the best places I like to frequent to make sure whether the item's going to sell or how much I should list the item for.
Yeah, that's a common answer, that one, that advanced search actually, and be able to have a look and see if you're able to make money from it. It's a really good tool, that one. Actually, and that's going to lead into the next question is what tools do you use for your eBay business? I mean, on an average day to day, tools that make you easier to list or maintain the sales or keep track of the shipping. What tools do you use?
Well, I know a lot of people probably use a lot of tools on eBay, more so than I do. I just kind of keep things simple. So the only tool that I actually use on eBay is the advanced search. I can't find a more powerful tool than that. I did see an email I got in a few days ago. It might have been actually last week, that eBay is now offering this thing called eBay.com Valet, where you can send in your items to them, and they'll take pictures of it and then list it on eBay, and you get 70% of whatever the item sells for. I might actually be doing that on items that I don't have enough time to do on my own. I might be, using that tool in the future. But because it's brand new, I might give it, maybe 6 or 7 months before I might even get into using that kind of new tool that they got out there. But other than that, I use advanced search on all my items. Every single item, that's the first place I go to. It's ebay.com/valet. It's a service that eBay actually offers for anyone that doesn't have time to sell their products. You can ship your items to a designated eBay service center. They'll take the pictures for you. they'll list it, and then they'll sell the item for you. But it has to be an item of $40 or more in value, which I probably will do. But it actually is a tool or system that eBay just started offering, I think, last week. It's brand new.
Amazing tool. Yeah, that's a really, that's a really good idea. It's a win-win for everyone, isn't it? Well, those were great answers, and then they were really helpful, David. And unfortunately, this is sort of the end of the lightning round, and it's actually time to say goodbye. We'd like to thank our special guest, David, for taking the time to come join us today and share with us his great experience. I've picked up some really good stuff today, David. It's been really good having you on the show.
Yes, David Rogers, the eBay man, we certainly appreciate your time, and we know that we're not the only ones that are going to benefit from this interview.
No, I really want to thank you guys for allowing me to come out here today and share my 11 years worth of experience of eBay, and I've had a total blast and fun time with the two of you.
It's been great having you here, David.
Absolutely.
Well, we will post the notes from today's interview on our show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/show notes/David Rogers. But before you go, David, please tell our listeners, how can they find you? What's the best way to contact you?
Best way is, if you want to find me on Twitter, I'm on there a lot, as I said earlier. So my Twitter handle is at eBay_man. You can also find me on, I have a Facebook page, and on there it's facebook.com/ebayman888. And if you ever want to email me, you can email me treasuresinmyhome@gmail.com is my email, or you can email me at ebayman888@yahoo.com. But I'm mostly on Twitter, so that's probably the best way of getting a hold of me.
Well, thanks again, David. We wish you continued success in your business. From everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay, I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
If you are an online merchant, chances are you've heard of Terapeak. Terapeak helps online merchants like you by providing in-depth analytics to help you pull back the curtain on your competitors' behavior, pricing techniques and strategies, supply and demand, category and product trends, and customer purchase patterns. Sound intense? It is. Terapeak is the leader in e-commerce market analysis, dedicated to helping online merchants grow their business and become more profitable. How cool would it be if you could know the new and emerging opportunities? Terapeak delivers market intelligence that is both meaningful and actionable. Terapeak analyzes over 2.4 billion transactions per year. How many of those will be yours next year? After all, if your competitors see the value in Terapeak, shouldn't you? Go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/Terapeak to sign up today.
Well, that's a wrap to another awesome show. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes at soyouwantasellonebay.com/iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Your eBay Podcast and Facebook at So You Want to Sell on eBay. And we can always be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com.